Know nobody's in here yet. Figured I'd just do a live real quick, not record anything or really prepare, kind of shoot from the hip like I normally do. So just got back from Dubai today. Was joined by my wife and kids, which was wonderful. Core Sports and Donna Drace was kind enough to bring them along with. So it was a great experience to have my boy in my corner. It was awesome. My wife's from Beirut, Lebanon. So she actually has several cousins and other family in Dubai, which was awesome. So we got to spend some time with them. My son got to meet some of his cousins and distant family, and they were incredibly hospitable. It was amazing. One downside to Dubai is it is ridiculously hot. It's something that I wasn't prepared for by any means. The humidity combined with the heat was something totally different. What's going on, Adnan? What's up, fellas in the chat? Yeah, so let me just start about with the experience as a whole. This is my first experience in Dubai and King of the Table. First off, I gotta say, absolutely top-notch production value. The way they do things with the walkouts, and love the way the press conference was run with the one-on-ones. It was awesome. What's up, Drew? Doing good, buddy. Glad to be home. But yeah, put us up in a beautiful hotel. That took care of all our rides to and from the airport and whatever we needed. So awesome experience. Definitely, clearly one of the top two promotions between them and East versus West. So it was a great experience. The card itself, we can start and walk through that. Um, First match, Ryan and Schoolboy. Um, so my prediction, what I was leaning toward, was something like that, 6-0, 4-0, something like that. And to be honest, I'm actually surprised. I think Ryan arm wrestled better and made that match more contested than I anticipated. So I really think, walking away from that, like, Schoolboy was dominant and in control, but he wasn't able to finish immediately right through Ryan. He had to actually arm wrestle, and he was put in some pretty precarious situations. So I think it was, a step forward for both of those guys. Very interested to see who Schoolboy pulls next. I think Ryan Bowen has Andre Shark at High Five. So everybody make sure you tune into High Five for that. I think that could be a really interesting match. Andre is absolutely killing it. He won the East versus West qualifiers, and he also just won that 220 round robin. So it's a huge step for Ryan, I think. But Ryan always punches up. So I think stylistically could potentially create some problems. So that'll be interesting. A little bit of rumors, thinking, hearing that Schoolboy's looking to maybe match up with Ron Bath, being that Ron and Schoolboy both just beat Ryan. Kind of makes for the next step logical. So we'll see what comes of that. We'll see if somebody picks that up, but that could be an interesting match. So after Schoolboy, we had Georgi Ziranov and Revas. I picked wrong on this one. Picked drastically wrong. Ziranov is like an evolution. Every time I see the guy, he's just more massive, like immensely. First time I seen him compared to now, unbelievable. For him to be able to hook a 170 kilogram guy and just kind of hold him in the center and be in control was very, very impressive. So amazing. 6-0, Ziranov. Um, I know some spoilers here, so but all the results are out there as far as that goes. Then on to my match. So yeah, Lachlan. I mean, I'll tell you, coming into the match, I wasn't like super overly confident. I painted myself as the underdog, and I pointed out the variables. And the variables, I think, kind of held true. We just didn't know, right? So where was my strength level going to be at 105, and where was Lachlan's going to be coming down from 115? Even though he competed, closer to 105 recently. So I think that, the combination of me not having to cut and just being generally healthy, they put me in a good position. Um, so obviously there was a little bit of, you know, a little bit of extracurricular stuff involved in this one. We had a little tension at the press conference and stare down. People were asking me, was that, was that real? Was that genuine? Um, I'll let you guys tell it one way or another, but if you're there, you can feel the energy. But I think a lot of that also worked into my favor too, because it's easier for me to get up for an opponent when there is a little bit of tension there, and I never create the tension. And I've been pulling a lot of Europeans who are extremely respectful, and I love that. But it's nice to have somebody kind of push your buttons a little bit too. Lachlan was amazing. We are good buddies off the table. He held me super accountable in preparation for this one. He constantly posts stuff, tags me, and did all kinds of stuff that just, you know, like every day a new post with a new lift or something, me tagged in it, and I'm like, okay, well, that means 2 extra exercises today. Or that means, you're going to go harder, you're going to go heavier. And just because I wasn't posting it all doesn't mean I wasn't doing it. So it was pleasant. It was pleasant. His confidence coming into the match created a lot of motivation for me. So I think he brought the best out of me. The match went the way I had visualized it. So people say, is that, is what you expected out of the match? No, I expected a war. But what am I visualizing in preparation and all the way up? Like, confidence wasn't super high. Every day I got more confident as I was in Dubai, just feeling the energy and realizing the size difference is really marginal, if any. Um, so as that visualization process comes through, I mean, the idea was a lot of people told me I was crazy. Some of my closest friends saying, why you want to pull this guy? Why you want to pull this guy in a hook? And of course, why wouldn't I? One of the biggest things I've learned throughout arm wrestling at the elite level is trying to top roll a good hooker puts yourself in a guaranteed position to be in their hook if you don't top roll them. So you're really rolling the dice. My top roll is not bad, but against some of the elite guys, sometimes the best I can do is hope to keep them flat. And if I wind up on the B side, now I'm on defense, and I'd rather not be on defense. So for me, I love when somebody meets me in the center table, brings their shoulder forward, and let's just get to work. So luckily, some of the interviews we did, that was suggested. I jumped at the opportunity. He agreed to it right before the match. I went over to him, say, "What are we doing? Like, are we going straight to the strap? Obviously, we both better go in the hooker. We're gonna look like some pussies if somebody tries to stop roll." So, and he was like, "Yeah, let's just go rest grip strap. Perfect. Say less." So, got some good jumps on the go. And most rounds finished the same. I did a few. I set up slightly different in a couple rounds as the match moved forward, just to apply a little shoulder backward, a little outside stuff here and there. But predominantly, it wound up, both of us cupping in some fashion, and then side pressure and drag. So perfect, ideal day for me. I would have liked for the match to be closer. And I did genuinely want to put on a show and have a war, but I'm not the type of guy to manufacture it. If I can win quick, take no damage, I'm going to do that. So huge blessing. Biggest blessing of the whole thing was having my son in my corner. My wife was stressed out all week, worrying about how he's going to handle it if I lose. But he's good about that stuff, and we have had a lot of long discussions about how to lose and how to lose like a champion, and how that's supposed to look. So fortunately, we didn't have to go through that and see how he was going to handle that. So definitely a big boost of confidence having him there with me. Had Alex Toproll, my good buddy, that I've missed for quite some time. He was in my corner along with my buddy Canadian Steve, Matt Mass friend. He was awesome. So great experience overall. Next match to me, most important to the card for me, obviously, because I got my Monster Michael Todd is my guy. But I think when you step back and take a look at this, Michael Todd being like his comeback being realized is so important for us in the West. Michael Todd is such an emotional, like, an emotional, like, facet that we have in Western arm wrestling. Like, him ascending is very, very important for American arm wrestling as a whole. And when we look at guys like Devin and Todd Hutchins, some of these guys that are leading the way, Michael Todd. These guys are so important. They take a lot of flack. There's a lot of stress, a lot of pressure on those guys. So anytime, you see an injury and Michael come back from that, he's working his way through the weight classes now. It's wonderful. And for him to win, not just win like he won against Frank Lamparelli, where it was super contested, and he had to get in the King's move and a couple different things. This was Michael imposing fundamental arm wrestling throughout the entire match. Shoulder rolls, presses, containing a top roll outside of the strap, basically, side pressure hooking. Michael Todd, this version of him post bicep surgery should not be looked at as a pure King's mover. Now, maybe if he goes back to super heavyweights, he's forced into that lane more. That's a possibility. But right now, where he's at in the 115, I think we are going to see Michael develop a lot more of those fundamental things and arm wrestle more fundamentally. He's always going to have an open top roll, but if he's able to be offensive, that open top roll isn't even perceived as a King's move. So I'm super happy for Michael. Super happy he was able to get a 6-0 win and build some momentum, because obviously we have him coming up against the Vitali in August, which is going to be huge. And I do think that Michael possesses the ability within 10 weeks to get himself in a position where he can win that match. Big time rooting for Michael. I think his comeback again, so important, man. So if you whether you like him or don't, support the guy. Okay, he's a sweetheart in real life, and support him for the sake of us in the West. All right, so next match, what was it then? I guess it was Angarbayev and Oleg Petrenko. I was rooting for Oleg because I like him. He's just a nice guy. He's hard to root against. But I did not, for the life of me, think that he was going to be that dominant. Like, wow. And Marcio, I thought Marcio was going to beat him, or at least was going to be closer than that. So it really solidified to me that that Oleg is the real deal. And he, I think it's only going to be a matter of time until we see him, with a belt in some weight class. And he's a tweener guy. He can be 95 with a big cut, and he also can walk in at 105. So, and he has the 105 attributes that could get down to that lighter weight. So super awesome. After that, what did we have? Remind me. We had Camille and Vitali. Finally, we get to the first match that wasn't a shutout. So that was pretty cool. To me, Camille arm wrestled incredibly. Match very, very, very contested and very close. He proved that he is in fact in that top 5, maybe top 4, top 3, I think, even with a loss. And I told him that after it. I think it was super admirable performance, and it to me, the guy has an acid weapon that maybe it's going to be tough for him to be the number 1 and maintain it because of styles, but he is going to beat guys that are number 1 guys. So, but hats off to Vitali. Camille is set up to take away Vitali's anatomical gifts and his strong points with his move. So it was super impressive to see Vitali still be able to work through and win that. And then the last match, Morozov and Matyashenko. Amazing match. I know there's a lot of flack about fouls and stuff like that, but again, there's always going to be contesting of these things. I thought the referees did a great job. I mean, there's always going to be things missed or whatever. And it was a super close match. So whenever matches are close like that, it's easy to look at calls and say, okay, that was the turning point. But I do think Morozov showed that versatility wise, he deserved the win. He can arm wrestle everywhere. He can meet people in their power. He can top roll. He's fast. He can adjust in match. He's unreal. Ivan is amazing in that he is a 115 guy. You know what I mean? And Morozov is enormous. Ivan has such an amazing ability to force people into a hook with or without the strap. He's fast. He's fearless. The heart of a champion. Super awesome match. I thought I would have been happy seeing either guy win. Amazing performance, and that's what we needed at the end of the card. Those two highly contested matches. So pretty awesome. Morozov, he is a machine. I think there's going to be some super interesting matches for him coming up left arm. Personally, I would love to see him face his countryman Alajan at some point. Alajan's much smaller than him, but I still find that match to be incredibly interesting in the interim while we're waiting for Levon to come back left arm. So next up, we got East versus West 13. And then my next match will be East versus West 14 in August. Majorly looking forward to that event, guys. Please, if you can make it to this, do not miss this stuff in real life. All right, it's going to be a huge opportunity. The in-person experience of one of these East versus West is incredible. The last one where Engen sold tickets, man, I can't even describe it. You have to be there. Take my word for it. It's the closest thing that I have seen to like a professional boxing match. So super awesome. All right, questions. I'll do some questions quick. How much stronger do you need to beat Irakli in your estimate? I don't think I need to be physically any stronger. I just need to have several components be shored up. Strengthen my finger containment, wrist flexion, supination, total body strength. I think I'm solid there. I just need to be able to impose my lane on a guy of that pedigree and elite stature in top rolling. Who do I got? Sasha or David? Oh my goodness, man. That is like the match of the year for me. I will root for David. I do not know if David will win, but it is incredibly hard to pick against this guy. How confident are you facing Babiev? I think I'm definitely still the underdog. I think Rustam got better. I like to think I got better too, but we won't know until we know. What I can say is I won't make some of the mistakes I made in the previous match. Prove me wrong. I was sure Lachlan was going to win. Wanted to stake on it, but Block was sold out. Well, that worked out for good. All right. Is there anything specific you're going to work on for Rustam? I'm probably going to work a lot of internal rotation. I'm going to focus on keeping my elbow healthy and my shoulder healthy. I think that's going to be super important. And general wrist flexion along with, side pressure related movements without actually training it and jeopardizing it. Who do I got, Dadakan or Petrenko? Dadakan, I think, but I'm rooting for Petrenko. And after that match, I would not doubt that Petrenko's style against Dadakan's ability to crush down on the top roller, but Petrenko has the same thing. We saw him do it to Angerbayev. It was incredibly impressive. So it could just come down to who has the stronger hook. Hard to say right now, but Dadakan beating Todd in a hook leads me to believe that his hook is top notch. Why don't I want to stay at 105? Okay. I don't want to stay at 105 because I don't love my body composition at this weight. I have the most I ever weighed was for John Brzenk. I was about like 232, 233 maybe. And I was eating all the carbs I could possibly eat. I don't like eating completely undisciplined to try and gain as much weight as I possibly could. And I did not like my cardio aspect in general life. Like walking up steps, I'm like labored breathing. I don't like the way I feel when I'm eating a ton of carbs. I'm a low carb, I'm a carb restricted guy. I feel best and most healthy. My joints feel best when I'm structured. So I know like cutting sucks, but it's also like a discipline thing that I like in my life. Lachlan needs to train with Reichart. He does train with Reichart. All right. Why do you think Travis accepted the Camille? No, he has no chance. Let's not listen. Don't count Travis out. He accepted all these matches. That means he's been training. and he's probably in good form. He's a scared human, and his fear motivates him. You know, he's going to be. He's not going to accept these matches. He's ready to do unless he's ready to do work. Don't count that guy out, man. He definitely has one last run in him. John versus Leonidas. That is going to be huge. I got to favor John because I think he can find a lane. But Leonidas is super impressive, and he absolutely deserves that match. I was rooting for you, but thought Lackey had it in a war. I will never doubt you again. Thank you. I appreciate you. And Schmo. All right. Yeah, he may need more time. I guess we'll find out, but that's the beauty of the comeback. And I love that he's jumping in with both feet. Like he just booked, what has he got? Three matches in like 2 months. To me, that's super awesome. And if he loses one, who cares? And I think we got one on the right, two on the left. I'm not even sure. He's got Derek Smith. He's got Camille. Who else has he got? But it's going to be super awesome, man. I think Travis being back in the sport is just as important as Michael Todd being, on that upward trajectory. Like, just think about it. Right now, arm wrestling has been driven completely by Devin and Devin's willingness to be active and promote the sport. I mean, we have some of these guys who have similar charisma and characteristics out there, and them being successful is so important, especially if Devin's taking time. I think Leo will get mind blown by John's hand control. That's a possibility. Okay. Travis thinks, Kalashnikov. Yep. Sergey. Barely above Matt Mask. Yeah. Sergey's serious, man. That's going to be a big test. And Sergey is good with the social media and trash talk. I'm a plumber. My son got me into arm wrestling. His nicknames is Spectrum. Arm wrestling seems interesting. Well, we're glad to have you, Master of Plumber. I love the fact that the sport's growing. It's amazing. That's why I like these main, not just the main promotions. The sport is growing at a trickle down rate. So like the main promotions are really leading the way, but like we're having these sub promotions that are doing amazing things, and they're pressing production quality to almost to a new level. The opportunities for arm wrestlers right now is at an all-time high since I've been involved in the sport. And because of that, those opportunities, the level is rising. I'm really excited about that, especially about the fact that I believe our level in the West is rising too. So what's up, Voodoo? But yeah, it's all super awesome. It's a trickle down effect. The more pay-per-views that are getting sold at the main promotions, or the more pay-per-views that means more pay-per-views at the smaller promotions. That means more pullers coming up to practice. That means more amateurs, first timers, kids coming to the smaller tournaments. It's a symbiotic relationship. So we got to keep the thing moving. We got to continue to grow, and we have to be able to sustain ourselves with the revenue needed, meaning more sponsors and more pay-per-view sales. That's why it's so important to buy these things, just for the love of the sport. They're not that expensive, $20, whatever it is. Easy investment compared to what you pay to actually go to a tournament. So an interview where Sergey said he's able to live just through arm wrestling now. Yeah, that's amazing, dude. Like I don't know how it works in other countries. And I know Sergey has some decent social media, but I don't see how that's possible. It's unbelievable that he can do it, and my hat's off to him. Jake's Arm Wrestling Universe. Love you, Paul. Great performance, businessman. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. Had a good time. It's always good when things work out. But again, the experience is a little bit more special for me, just having my wife and kid there. So super awesome. Michael Todd's chances in August 50-50 or better. Your opinion. Man, I'm going to call it 50-50. Just because I'm going to be conservative. And I really, really respect that account's level. But if I were to give Mike a slight favorite, which I think I can, is because Michael has such an unorthodox style, he also possesses an amazing hit in the shoulder roll and transition game. And he's got the heart of a champion. So if you want to make it 49-51 to Michael, I'd be good with that. I think it's a toss-up right now. I'll be able to give you a better idea as I communicate more with Mike through the process. And health is always an important thing. Who's healthiest is such a huge variable that we don't often know. Angan was right about you. Everyone was saying you had no chance, but Angan said, watch out for your speed and he was spot on. Yeah. I look, I love that I'm doubted. You know, of course you don't like the comments when you read them, but they're super important to me. I like when people doubt me. I love when I'm the underdog, makes me work harder. I perform best in that scenario. So it's all good. You know, after actually having the match, I really don't think it wasn't a speed thing. Speed looks great when there's a gap in power, and I think there was a gap in power. Uh, okay. Would you ever want to face Artem Tynov on the right hand at 95? And could you give your thoughts on Georgi Totiev at 95? Yeah, I would love to face Artem. And I think that'll probably happen at some point. We just got to see how everything pans out. Um, Totiev is a weirdo. I've been following him for quite some time. I actually didn't know he was a 95 puller. I don't know if he just came up recently. I thought he was a 90, but might have missed it. Super impressive. Amazing long arm, unimposing look. Super proficient, killer. So very awesome. And he seems to be a very bad stylistic matchup for a lot of people. He probably would be for me with that long arm too. He's awesome. Okay. And sounded like if Dada Khan doesn't beat Petrenko, the match won't be for a title with Michael Todd. Well, that's a great question. You know, that's really interesting. You know, but you know that is a monkey wrench in everything. Petrenko beats Dada Khan, and the Dada Khan and Michael Todd match sticks. Then okay, but the question is, does that match then change from Dada Khan to Petrenko? I don't know. So I haven't heard anything one way or the other. The thing is, he got flopped by Lamparelli's pure top roll, and I think Dada Khan has more in that tank. See, I don't know about that. See, I think that Frank Lamparelli, after first seeing him again against Matt Mask, the long lever top roller, and how he post top rolled him, yes, that's the perfect lane to compete against Matt, but he did it so flawlessly, and then he did it to Michael too. Frank's hand's incredible. I would venture to say that I would bet that Frank's hand is as good as Dada Khan. Maybe not his pure wrist flexion, but his containment and his rise. I think Frank's just super underrated. But I think more matches with Frank is going to tell that story. I think Frank's going to be on 14, so we'll get to see him again. Thanks for the answer. Waiting for the Artem match. Yeah. Frank is number 2 in Italy. People don't give him enough credit. Well, he's number 2 he's number 2 behind Hermes, who is amazing, like number 2 in the world. So like, that's what I mean. Like being number 2 in your country, when you're the number 2 guys in your country. Yeah. I mean, I guess, and Frank's such an unimposing guy, doesn't talk a lot. So a lot of times that'll get you that lack of respect, sadly. He kept him out of his lane, so the gap probably appeared even larger than it was. Now we after pulled quite a bit. There's a gap everywhere. Give it like 2 more minutes. If you got any questions, go ahead and fire away. If not, I'm going to go ahead and close out. I usually don't stay on this long. ADD and all. All right, we'll go ahead and shut it down. Guys, first off, thank you so much for the support. I greatly appreciate it. Those of you who doubt me and hate, that's motivation too. I appreciate y'all as well. But yeah, again, make sure we tune in. Thank you, brother. Appreciate the support. Make sure we tune in for East versus West 13 and then 14. And again, if you're local to PA, we have the Pennsylvania State Championship, the Keystone State Championship. We actually got it officially recognized by the state as the Pennsylvania State Arm Wrestling State Championship. There'll be government issued certificates given to all the winners. My son will be competing in that. We're looking for a huge turnout. We're looking for a huge turnout in the kids. We always try to blow the kids up. So that should be really, really fun. My son's looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. After that, we got nationals a couple weeks later in Allentown, PA. But everything beyond that, man, all these big pay-per-views, man, support them. Like, all the way down to, MAC, High Five, all the stuff that's going on. These round robins, all this stuff's awesome. So let's keep this sport growing. Let's do it together. Much love. I'm out for now.